What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Coconut Wireless. It is Thursday, March 20th. Let's. All right. I hope you guys having a wonderful evening. Let's bring on the co-host, Mr. Charles Iona. What's up, Charlie?
Hey, good evening, Mel. Good evening, everyone. Good to be here.
I see the nice shirt, bro. You got
There
the
you
nice shirt.
go. Got
Yeah, see
mine
it.
on. Yeah, yeah.
It is official. We're official. How's everybody
Yes,
doing,
yes,
guys?
sir.
How's everybody doing? It is Thursday night, and just a wonderful evening, man. I just came back from Jill Tukuta's town hall meeting. I left a little early so we could start the show, but packed house up at Kapa Middle School. It was
Mhm.
international audience again tonight, Charlie. My Auntie Mary, all
Yes.
the way from South Africa.
Oh, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, she might have the record of the farthest away. I don't know if we have anybody farther away than
Wow.
South Africa. Oh, jealous, jealous. I never been to South Africa. Never been to
Yeah,
South Africa. I guess we could go there. Patty, aloha. How are you? How are you? I hope all is well in Oahu. Not as far as South Africa, but
glad to have you here anyway. Yeah.
Keith EY all the way from Thailand. Golly, we got the whole globe covered tonight. The whole globe. I think South Africa is farther than Thailand. I'm almost positive. Charlie, what is the farthest you've been from Hawaii? What is the farthest?
I've been to Florida, way across the opposite on the eastern seaboard.
That is far.
I've been to Florida. That's about it. I haven't been outside of the United States, but it was an experience. And back in those days, in fact, it was right before Hurricane Iniki when I went down to Hurricane Andrew in Homestead. Got to work with the 82nd Airborne. Did a lot of disaster relief. I did logistics for the security team that went down, part of the DMAT response team. And I got to tell you, the people are nice. I learned a different culture. I got to work amongst Haitians, Floridians. Very, very nice people, despite the tragedy that unfolded there back then. Um, but just overall, just really a nice. I fell in love. I fell in love with Miami, Cubans. Uh, Interesting.
Cigars? The Cuban cigars?
No, the Cuban
Well,
population. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And so that's where I started to drink, Cuban coffee. You get spoiled, once you get used to it. It's just you get spoiled. I can see why people are wired. It's very, very strong. And I said, man, you guys cheapskates. The thing's so small, a cup. And there
Oh,
was excuse me, there was a reason. There was a reason why, and it's just one of those things. But it's just it. I wish I could go other places, but hopefully one day soon I'll get to go other places.
yeah, I've been all over the country. I I have been to Philippines and to Korea and to Japan. Only at the airport. Never got to leave the terminal in Narita.
Hmm.
Been to Wake Island. Been to Guam. Um, all fun places. I mean, it's every single place. I know we've talked about this on the show many times. Every single place on this planet is special, regardless of where it is. Uh, so yeah, Kauai to me probably the best place on the planet. My son
Oh,
just went to Portugal. He just got home from Portugal a couple days ago, and I am so jealous. Oh yeah, that's right, Keith. I did go to Mexico too. I did go to Mexico to Cancun. My wife and I won a trip, and we went many years ago. But we got to stay at one of the resorts in Cancun, and that was fun. Jane Ozaki, aloha, welcome. Thank you for joining. It's amazing how many of our villagers are still here, Charles. It's amazing how
Yep.
many of our the original. Kehao, welcome, 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 welcome. What do you guys want to talk about today? What do you guys want to talk about today? There's so much stuff going on. I mean, there's just so much stuff going on. I did want to chat a little bit about, if you guys saw my post this morning about the Blue Hawaiian helicopters filing a petition with the FAA to get an exemption from the height restriction. Right now, they cannot fly lower than 1,500 feet,
Yep.
but they want to get an exemption so they can fly lower up in the mountains, up at Koke, up like you know. I support small business. Don't get me wrong. I love helicopters. I love flying in them, but uh, I just do not think that flying below that ceiling of 1,500 feet up in our mountains,
Mm-hmm.
Kalalau, up in Koke, in the valleys, with this unexpected turbulence and wind shears and downdrafts, that we should be messing around with that. So, anyway, I did post that up asking people. You get the comment period is until April 8th. So just go to my page and check it out. I cannot imagine they would grant that. I mean, I think it's bad enough if you go up to Koke or any of our Mauka locations, you cannot sit back and relax without a helicopter flying over every 5 or 10 minutes. So I think they shouldn't be allowed to fly below the ceiling. But
Yeah.
anyway, I don't know what you take, Charlie. I don't know. I mean, I know it's at some point we talk about. Oh, my auntie Mary went to the Wake Island. Yeah, it is interesting. You can catch ono from the shore. You just cannot eat the fish around Wake Island because it's all radioactive.
Yeah.
But you can catch them and throw them back.
Well, I will say I will say this much. Uh, thinking about it, helicopters for one. I don't know why you would want to go lower. I mean, you'd get more of a view, much higher an overall view, unless you're going straight into pinpointing something that you want to see. But like they say, the closer to the ground you are, the chances of getting into an air crash is greater. So
Yeah,
I
and,
mean,
and I think you just got to understand helicopters want to fall from the sky. Unlike a plane with the wings and they have a lot more lift, they want to stay in the air. Helicopters want to come down. It's just, we had that amazing helicopter, the emergency landing they did down on the beach out on the North Shore. And that pilot was able to auto rotate that helicopter down onto the
yeah,
beach. And, would he have been able to do that if he was low?
no,
No, no. So it's really for safety. And, today I had a meeting with the Hawaii Lodging Tourism Association, their board, and we talked a little bit about the destination management plans that all the islands are supposed to be doing.
mm-hmm,
We're working on ours right now, but that whole purpose of the destination management plans are to provide a balance. We talked about the visitor industry last week, Charlie, about how vital it is, but there has to be a balance, and we cannot allow the scales to tip where the benefits are for our visitors on the backs and shoulders of our residents. That is not a balance. And when you're talking about
right,
helicopter traffic, we have a right and we deserve the opportunity to go somewhere and not be bothered by these helicopters. So, again, there has to be a balance, and you bring that helicopters down below 1,500 feet. Uh, it's loud. It's loud. So
yeah,
anyway,
yeah, exactly.
how you guys feel, folks? How do you guys feel? I'm curious. Put them in the comments. But if you're interested in submitting a comment, please go to my Facebook page, and you'll see the post. You just click the link, and you can submit your comment, whether you support it or not. I think the FAA needs to know. This morning, when I checked it this morning, there were only 8 comments. Nine. There was one more. 9 comments. I submitted mine. Mine hadn't been logged yet. So with mine was 10. I didn't check this afternoon, so I'm not sure. But the FAA relies heavily on the community input. So please, please, please. And again, this is not a dig against Blue Hawaiian helicopters or any helicopter companies. It's the whole concept of getting an exemption from a safety level, a safety altitude. Why would you want to get an exemption for that? Anyway,
Well,
Nani, you're right. Nani is right. Not safe. She worked in the industry for years and have witnessed many crashes. Yes,
have you
sad.
ever noticed, okay, who who actually quantifies levels of helicopters when they fly? I know when I see them flying over, I won't stand there and take out a ruler of some sort and says, well, yeah, he's right at the peak of the 1,500 feet level. I mean, any lower, I think I had to call in a complaint. You know what I mean? So the bottom line is this: in fact, when the rules were put into effect, someone needs to ask, okay, there had to be a reason why they chose 1,500. Why didn't they choose 1,600? Why didn't they choose 1,400? It was specifically 1,500. So you
Yes.
bring on the experts and you say, okay, why did you choose 1,500? Was it for safety reasons or was it because of noise, right? Or was it because of reactionary time and taking into account how fast an object falls, free falls, should um, they hit a doldrum when there's no air to grab and the chopper just falls out of the sky? I mean, there's so many things to be considered. But I always ask myself, when something is quantified, how do they get to a certain number? I mean, I know as a police officer, when we shooting bullets, we can quantify the the feet per second, right? That the bullet travels at a
Hmm.
certain velocity. We can do that, but everything else is Greek to me, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I think the primary method or the reason they use whatever this altitude that they determine is safe is based on their knowledge and professionalism on how long would it take for a pilot to recover from a stalled engine, or how long would it take a pilot to enable the auto rotation and get that thing down safely. And then I think part of that as well is the disturbing the disturbance of the residents that are living on that in that place. So I think it's a bunch of things. But to for anyone to think that going lower in a very treacherous area like our mountain ranges here on Kauai or any island for that matter, you obviously at that point you're not thinking about safety. You're thinking about a visitor experience that you want to make this experience of visitors. I've been in a helicopter many times, and when we went up when we had to go up and do rescues, you get very close to those damn cliffs and ledges, and it requires amazing piloting skills. But at the end of the day, those helicopters have exemptions because they're performing life-saving measures.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? Why doesn't Blue Hawaiian apply for? We'll keep the flight restrictions at 1,500, right?
Mhm.
But we lower the passengers by rope down to within 5 feet of the surface.
That
You
would
load a
work. Yeah, I think that would work really really well. Um, with no safety rope, just yeah, I agree. I agree.
I
I
mean,
agree.
you want them to get the experience. Okay, I'm going to lower you as close as possible. And here's another thing you can think of. At what point do you measure the height? Is it from the highest peak to the bottom of the aircraft that gives you the ask, what you're asking for? So if it's 1,000, is it the highest peak? So if you're in a valley, you got to get to the highest peak and measure from there, right? Not from the valley floor and up. So there's all things to be considered. I mean, I don't know. I'm just getting crazy, and the more I think about it, I get one damn headache thinking about it.
Ed McDowell says, "Don't lower the height. Why would a business that is already under scrutiny bring more scrutiny? This will backfire." I agree. I mean, they're already, they're not very popular with the residents who got to deal with that noise every single day.
Uh-huh.
Nani is right, especially in Kokeo, the Napali Coast, hardly any safe place to land if they have an engine failure. Absolutely. And again, these are the factors. This is why, I mean, if I owned the company, I would not want my pilots to be taking passengers anywhere near and putting them in a very dangerous position. Back in 2015, yeah, was it 2015? No, 2000 and no 95. I think it was 95. The two police officers in Honolulu, Brian Bain and Tate Kahawai, were killed.
Kahakai. Yeah.
Kahakai. They were killed in that helicopter crash um, on Oahu because they had gone up on a very windy day trying to rescue a missing hiker, and they both died along with the Honolulu Fire Department pilot. And that's probably one of the more avoidable accidents I think that I've ever seen, and that's what we're trying to prevent. So why would you want your choppers with humans inside to go any closer? I had one fly 400 feet over my house during the day. It was very loud a few weeks ago. There is, I got to go find that number, but there is a number you can call and report these incidents where helicopters or planes are flying too low. And they actually can track it because all of these things have trackers in them. And they can track the date and time, location. They can tell you exactly who was there and how high they were flying. And they do enforce. So if any of you have issues or incidents like that, yeah, I got to go find that number. Nani says, "Do you still have a hotline for noise?" Yeah, it's actually the FAA has a system you can connect with and report it. But yeah, we have to because these guys. I think a lot of these pilots are not following the law, and we just gotta let the FAA know. Marlies says she's been in many helicopter rides on Kauai, and they go low enough. It's already scary. Yeah, I love going. I mean, I really do. But again, it's for the safety of the people and for the sanity of the residents that live under these choppers. We gotta be reasonable. Melissa says the only time I'm going on a helicopter is an emergency from getting lost on a hike.
I will tell you
Uh,
one thing. I had an opportunity to go and investigate an air crash on the island of Maui, up in the area of Iao State Park, and it involved the Blue Hawaiian helicopter, and so the chief pilot took us up because we wanted to see the area where it impacted with the mountain, and we kind of flew the pattern just to see what it was like. We flew the same exact flight pattern, and as things would have it, we had a low cloud ceiling, and then when we came out of the cloud, guess what was right in front of us?
Mountain.
Yes,
Mhm.
I mean you could actually put your hand on and pretty much touch that mountain. I mean, it was that close. So I can see if someone is flying, and there was a pilot that the police department used. Great guy, and he knew his stuff. He says, "Hey, when I can't see anymore, gotta fly by instruments. I know if I going in north, I gotta come back south." That's why he's watching his instruments at all time when he's flying. And we had some moments with him. He takes us into areas, and he just say, "Hey, just have confidence. I'm watching the instruments. The instruments don't lie." And we went in and came back out. But it's just to tell you that if you want to fly in a mountainous area, you would try to stay as high as possible. Why would you want to go low? I,
Mhm.
I, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, and the winds all funky, and they can change in a heartbeat, right? So yeah, I no doubt these pilots are awesome. They're highly trained. They practice a lot, especially Blue Hawaiian, Jack Hart. All of these guys are great pilots.
Hmm.
But when you don't have room to make the correction or recover from a bad situation, that's when people get hurt or die. And that's all I'm saying.
Hmm.
Um, Again, what is the reason for going lower? Is to improve the visitor experience, but you're also putting the people at risk. So anyway, enough of
Yeah.
that. Enough of
Hmm.
that. But uh, what else is going on, Charlie? What else is going on? A lot of stuff, man. A lot of
No,
stuff.
it's,
Oh,
it,
how's that Maui police chief? How's that Maui police chief, man? P. Diddy. He made national news. P. Diddy. P. Diddy said, "No, man, that guy was my security, man. He helped me cover up a rape and all of that." And then The guy comes and drops the bomb and says, "Hey, it's my receipts. I was in Vegas, not in California." Interesting. What was interesting is how the police commission decided we're not going to put him on leave and we're not going to investigate.
That
That
that is being a former police commissioner myself. That is not what you do because the level of trust now it's left up to suspect, right? I said, hey, just clear the guy, just clear the guy. But you got to ask yourself this question, okay? And I've said this before: millions of police officers around our nation. How the heck did his name surface? You got to ask yourself, how in heck, why was his name picked? I mean, they could have picked Charlie Iona. They could
can
have
you,
picked no.
Charlie? Can you imagine if they picked Charlie Iona?
Yeah.
Jeez, I mean, damn this. If they had named Charlie Iona, we would have a million viewers on this show tonight. We'd
Oh
have a million.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yes. But then you got to ask yourself, you know, someone with intimate knowledge, right? Especially in that lawsuit, pick that specific name. Why? I mean, that you start there, right?
Yep.
So for the so for the I think what it does though, what it hurts the department is there may be cases that might be compromised because of integrity reasons, right? That's the thing you always worry about. Make sure you don't have any kind of conflict, blah blah blah. Now you got your chief of police under this type of scrutiny, but yet nobody wants to. So now a question. I mean, it's already a situation regarding the Maui wildfires and the contractor that did the body recovery, and how all the officers, the experienced ones, was taking off and putting in like new recruits to go collect remains, right? It came to light, and now this. So it's compounded one thing after another. It's just compounding, and they need to stop the bleeding. And I'm not saying he's guilty. That's not what I'm saying at all. But put this issue to rest so that you can have at least some. You can keep integrity. That's what I'm saying. Keep the integrity. We did our part. We investigated it, and there was nothing. Fine, move on. Or we found something and we forwarded it to the proper channels, to the proper authorities for further investigation. Fine, but at least the level of integrity, somebody did something, whether thumbs up or thumbs down, either way. But to not do anything, the first thing. Yeah, and I don't have any skin in this game, but I'll just say, for a commission, is there something that, as a commissioner, I might be exposed to if we put him on a hot seat? Does he have dirt on me that he might say something about yours truly if I sat on that commission? It's possible. I'm not saying it is, but it's possible.
I just think that the police commission, and let's just take Maui out of it, just in general, the police
Hmm.
commission has a duty and an obligation to
Oh yes.
investigate. They do. So if, and again, I don't know this chief. I never met him. Don't know anything about him. I definitely don't know P. Diddy or any of those guys. But an allegation was made. Allegation was made. Now the chief was able to produce some documents that could possibly be an alibi, which is
Hmm.
great. Which is great. I don't want to see anybody be falsely accused. I know what it's like. I've been there, done that, and paid a price. But the commission cannot just say, "Oh, chief, you handed over these documents in an informal method. There's no investigation. We're just not going to investigate." I think that's where that's going to come back and bite them in a hokole. You still got to conduct the investigation. You still got to interview witnesses. You still got to do all of that, and then come to a conclusion based on the evidence that was provided by the chief. It is clear this time that the complaint was unfounded. But when the commission came out and said we're not going to suspend them or put them on leave, and we're not going to investigate, I think that's a big problem. I mean, if the, that happened on Kauai, and there was allegations of that against any of our department heads, let's say the police chief, Now, the council doesn't have any authority over the police department other than the budget, but we also have the ability and the obligation and the authority to investigate anything in the county. I can honestly tell you, if that happened and the commission said we're not going to investigate, me as a council chair would initiate it on the council level.
Let me ask you this question: to confirm a police commissioner, who do they come before?
The council.
There you go. There's your answer
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, to me, it's like you hit it on the head, Charlie, when you talked about integrity and the trust from
Hmm.
the community. And I know I watched the news and there was a bunch of people coming up testifying in support of the chief. That's fine. I like to see that. I like to see the community behind the chief. But that's
There's
not the
both sides
point.
to everything. Yeah,
That's
there's
not the
both sides
point.
to everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
but there is a process. Okay, knowing what we've known, you're part of it, right? Through that whole investigation that we had to. It was the process, and we let the process work its way out, and it had a final conclusion. But now it's on the books. We did it. Okay,
Hmm.
to have this go down on the books as basically you're saying no comment. It says, hey, this thing made national news. What are you saying? No comment.
I tell you
That's what's
what's
happening. Yeah.
I tell you where this is the problem's going to happen
Mm.
is the next officer that gets put on leave after an allegation is made.
He's going to
That's
use it
where
as an example.
it's going to say, whoa, time out. Does the chief have a different set of rules? And that is why when I don't care if you're a chief or you're a shopo, you're a patrol cop, sergeant, whatever, you got to be consistent. You got to be fair to with everybody. So I think that's where it's going to happen. And what happens now if somebody makes a complaint? Charlie Iona, Mel Raposa made a complaint. Charlie Iona had punched me in the face. He's a cop. I was speeding, and now Charlie Iona, I filed a complaint, and then Charlie, you bring two more cops and said, "Bro, I was right there. He never punched him." That's your evidence, right? Yeah, that's your testimony, witness statements. So will the commission just say, "Oh, sorry, we talked to the other two cops, and we're not going to investigate"? No, you investigate the doggone incident, and then you anyway.
Not to
Ah,
even look, I'll take it one step further and then we can move on. But not to even entertain looking into the complaint. Doesn't mean that you're going to do anything else, but just look into it and release a statement that the matter is being looked into and when further developments. But then you can always say, due to commission rules, we took up the matter in executive session, which, unless you apply for FOIA, we can't release anything at this time. But, just give the general public, let them know that you're going to do something, but not to do anything at all.
yeah, yeah. It's like
That is that is dangerous. That is dangerous.
Tyson. It's Governor Raposo and Lieutenant Governor Charlie. That's yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see. Off topic, but did they have a council meeting yesterday? No, we did not have a council meeting yesterday. There was just nothing that was carried over, so we will have a meeting on Wednesday. Let's see. Goodness, that wasn't on my bingo card for 2025. I have no idea what that is. Did they find him guilty? No, they basically what we just talked about.
Mhm.
They just said that he had enough evidence to show that he was not there. Let's see. Hold on. I'm gonna go through these comments because I love the engagement. Heck no, ain't no way. He probably would be caught at the shrimp buffet in Vegas, but that's it. uh, any good candidates for KPD chief yet? I can honestly tell you that there are no candidates yet. They haven't put the job out yet. I did meet with a representative from the commission yesterday. They are starting the process. They're defining a new process. It's actually not a new process. It's the same process, but they're so they did meet. I did meet with them. Let's see. Even though the criminal suit, I think it's charges dropped. That brother still had his name involved with a Diddy lawsuit and or cover up. Just a good look. No. It's not saying he's guilty or any wrongdoing, but obviously was near around that scene. Yeah, like Charlie said earlier, like Lieutenant Governor Charlie said. Um, how do you pick that name out of the all the people in the country? Uh, did the chief have stock options in baby oil? Oh my goodness.
No,
Um,
no, no, no,
yeah,
folks.
yeah. Commissioners are the buffer between ivory towers and Joe Blow. Absolutely. That's, I think, the gist of what we're trying to say is that you got to let the
Well,
public know that you looked into it.
so I am gonna beat on this thing again because it did happen and it's recorded. And as you know, some time ago here on the island of Kauai, there was a suit filed because the commission, it sounds kind of crazy in a way because your name gets picked by the mayor, it goes before the council to get confirmed, and you sit on the bench. But besides all of that, you still have to be independent thinkers, and there's a set of rules that is basically like the Bible for the police commission. And your job is to hire and fire the police chief should that ever come down to that point. So there was a case that was brought up, and it happened here in Kauai that went to the Supreme Court, and a decision was made by a 3-0 vote that the police commission has the ultimate say over, really over the, if you want to look at the employment of the police chief with the police department, because if A is hiring and C is firing, discipline covers from A to C. It's not relinquished to any other entity. And so one point that was brought up is we wanted to make sure that the police chief is left out of the political realm. And that's the reason why we had to do what we had to do. Because if not, then the police chief becomes the personal security for the mayor of the county or whatever entity in the county wants to use him at their disposal. And no, no, that's not right. That's not right. His job is to basically run the police department and keep everyone safe, to serve and protect, as they say. Yep.
Yeah, it's charter of a commission is the absolute duty of any commission. Absolutely, we got to follow the.
Exactly.
Liz from Maui. Hi, the village. Miss y'all. Mel, the charges are not filed correctly yet by the two anonymous people, apparently. So they may look into it again later if filed correctly. You talking about the civil suit?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. That story is not over. I don't think. They also named a comedian. I forget the guy's name, and OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., the NFL football player. He was named too, and OBJ is saying, "I never met this guy, P Diddy." We'll see.
Mhm.
We'll see. That's a fun case to follow. Unfortunately, it involves one of our police chiefs here in Hawaii. But yeah,
Yeah.
when that whole lawsuit on Kauai, and it was because the mayor at the time was trying to discipline the police chief, right? And that's how this whole thing went to court, and the court ruled based on our charter, the mayor does not have the authority to discipline. And the whole purpose, if you go back and look at the minutes of the meeting, because I did this when the charter was formed, the commissioners at that time made it very clear in the minutes that they did not want the police chief to be a political position. You don't want the police chief to be someone that is the mayor's um, enforcer. So that's why they set up the commission. And if you watch the commission meeting on Maui, they went hard after the mayor. I don't think they'll be what do you call that, renewed or reappointed. They went hard on the mayor. But that's what it's supposed to be. They're supposed to be, like Charlie said, independent. And the fact that the mayor appointed you and the council confirmed you, that doesn't mean that you're a puppet for the mayor or the council. No, you got
Mhm.
to be an independent thinker. And in that case, they made it very clear they were not happy with the mayor. They were not happy with the mayor.
Well, if you also look, it'll clearly state in the charter that the police commission themselves, and it says, when does the police chief report to the mayor? It's during the budget period or if there's an active emergency that affects the entire county.
Mhm.
So it spells that out. Now, as far as a police commissioner or the police commission, we are not allowed, and it's spelled out in writing, we are not allowed, under no circumstances, to be involved in a day-to-day operation, meaning telling the police chief what to do. You cannot. That's a no-no, and we took that very seriously. We took that very seriously. So when certain things happen, it's going in areas that falls under the purview of the commissioner. The rest of it, no, you
Yeah.
can't get involved with that stuff.
And actually, the county council is bound by that same prohibition as well. We cannot. Why did the county attorney know that time that the mayor couldn't discipline the police chief? Seems like a no-brainer. Yeah, well, because we had an incompetent county attorney. That's what it was. Yes, I said it.
Yes, yes, yep.
That's why I really appreciate the county attorney. We had the last couple county attorneys, Monica Trask and Matt Bracken right now in Kauai. I can honestly sit here straight to your faces and tell you that those two guys operate as an independent office and their opinions come based on the rule of law and not what the mayor wants. Um, and I totally, as a council member, I appreciate that 100% because our butts are in the sling if we make a bad decision. If we make a bad decision based on bad information, we have some protection. But if we don't, then uh,
Hey Mel, can I ask you a question?
where do I stand now? Where do I stand? Not sure. On what? That's like an open-ended question. Where do you stand now, Mel? Um,
Can I ask you a question, Mel?
yes, of course.
It's been real interesting since my tenure, and I know some people have gone back on the commission, and I guess the rule is you have to wait a year, right, before you can go back on the commission.
Hmm.
And I've tried numerous times, and it's just other commissioners with myself at the time, which we believe we had a really good, fair, and honest commission at the time. We tried numerous times, and we haven't been selected to go back on the commission. Is there something that we did? What's your take? I don't want to put you on the hot seat.
I've been in a hot seat all day today. I had so many meetings today that my butt is fried. I get rash. Um, no, I don't know. I mean, that's the mayor's prerogative to pick the commissioners that they believe can do the job. We don't get involved except in the confirmation process. Although I have sent over recommendations in the past for commissions that had vacancies, because I believe we need to have those commissions all filled. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, what I have noticed with this administration here, with this county administration, is that we have a lot of new commissioners, like first timers. That historically, it's always been people that they just keep get reappointed, and when they get off of one commission, they go to another commission. It's kind of the same people. Right now, we have a whole bunch of first time commissioners, which I think is healthy. Um, Sorry, out of loop. Last time you worked for KPD, yeah, I not sure, not sure what you mean, but anyway, try again. Yeah, so I don't know, Charlie. I don't think I've ever sent over a recommendation for your name though. I
Yeah,
can.
best. No, best not.
That's not. How about if we put you on another commission, like I don't know what.
Like open space.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Uncle's is there. Manny is on that. I got Manny on there, and he's solid. Manny got his historical knowledge of the cultural accesses that we had, and yeah, he's amazing. Uncle's the restaurant, Manny Cabral.
I want to say this, and this is the passion, and I believe Kauai has all police departments. You have your good, and then you have some bad. But I ask the folks, look at the good. Look at that's just. I don't want to say that's just the process, but it happens over time, and um, my desire was to go back and bring back the integrity we once had. Now, am I saying that there's no integrity? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying it could be better, and I'm not saying that I'm the one to do it. But those who know me know that I fought hard. I mean, to put yourself in the bullseye for a lawsuit and that goes to the Supreme Court is a lot. It took a lot out of me, but we had to stand on principle, and that's the reason why we did it, and that's the only reason why I would love to get back on. But other than that, no.
But you stood on the charter. I mean, I think the charter is the Bible, right? That's the law, and yeah.
But you
But
know how hard it is when you made mention now. But we stood on the charter. But when you're having a county attorney that's trying to tell you no, jump off the cliff, I go, wait, hold on, pal. This piece of paper is what's gonna set you and I free. Follow it. And when you got somebody that doesn't want to follow it, it's like, ooh,
yeah,
little bit spooky, little bit spooky.
yeah. I think you guys did the right thing. I think you guys had special counsel. I think you guys had an attorney that helped you guys get through that. And but it had to be done, Charlie. It had to be done. That had to be clarified because you don't want to see that happen again. At
Hmm.
the end of the day, there was a lot of pilikia through all of that. Had the charter been followed from the beginning, we would have eliminated all of that stress, not just for you guys as the commissioners, but for the chief, for the administration, for the mayor. All that could have been avoided if they had gotten the right opinion to begin with. I mean, that's all I'm trying to say.
Yes,
Uh,
Mel was a detective. That's right. You were a detective.
okay, hang on. I'm trying to catch up. Does Ellen Ching have power to nominate for commission or only the mayor? Only the mayor. Only the
Only a man.
mayor appoints them. Did I retire from KPD? I was a detective. I did not retire. I resigned after 13 years and opened up my own private investigative agency and a pawn shop and all of that good fun stuff.
Hmm.
Uncle Charlie would be a good candidate, truthful honesty and weigh things out.
Thank you, my
Uh,
dear. Thank you.
yeah, he did a great job. He did. I think he should run for council. What do you guys think? Charlie
Oh,
Iona, 2026 county council. What do you guys think? In the chat, put down yes or no. Would you vote for Uncle Charlie for Kauai County Council?
Mel, patience is a virtue. Mel, patience is a virtue.
I was at a mayor event in November 2024 and I saw you there. Awesome. 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 Yes, 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 yes.
Uh,
Uh huh.
I,
Well,
there's some of us that there's some of us that we do good in a second position. And some people have asked me this before, especially my wife. Oh God, sometimes I wish my wife would. She ran for office, but we kind of know what happened. But you'll find out if you have a lot of strengths and you put yourself in the front, it's very hard to do certain things that you need to do. And sometimes if you can support a good candidate like Mel, then you support him with every ounce that you have within you.
knock it off. Knock it off. Answer the question. Well, is he up for running for council?
Well, just cut me off at the knees, huh?
Marley said, there. There. You saw it. You saw it. We love you, Uncle
I love you folks
Leonardo.
too.
Council, you need 40K to run. Ed, I don't know. Charlie could get away without spending that much money. Charlie knows so many people. His name recognition. I think he could. He would definitely need to raise some money, but not. 40 grand. If he spent 40 grand, he'd be top vote getter.
You know
Um,
what kind of bothers me though, and I'm just so naive on this. We did spend some money for my wife's campaign when she ran for the house. Okay, if you got a good, if you got a good platform that you're running on, okay, so I know you need to buy signs, banners, and all that stuff, but other than that, you really should be running on what you have to offer because you're going to be serving the people. That's your job, and money shouldn't get you in. But as we can see how elections are going now, the more money you have, anything's possible. But I'm not a fan of that. To tell you the truth, I think there should be some. some limits put in place what you can have. I mean, if there was a way that you had $100,000 and you split it amongst all candidates and everybody get a fair amount of share and you run it on that, that's where I think you're gonna see a lot of integrity issues. How well can they do? It's like saying, if you can manage your campaign on this small amount of money, just imagine you running one county. You're gonna be showing everybody that hey, I can run a county on one budget, right? I'm not gonna keep on asking for I need more money, I need more money, I need more money.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you running to serve the people, then make it that way. But don't say that because I get a big war chest, I should have the upper hand. That's why I don't believe in that. I don't believe in
That's why you need to be on the county council. Huli huli
that.
chicken
Oh
fundraiser for uncle. Huli huli chicken fundraiser for uncle.
no, cannot, Melissa, sweetheart, because the chickens on Kauai, that's what makes Kauai Kauai. We get all these because too much holy holy chicken, all the chicken's gonna be gone. You don't want that.
Am I going to run? Yes. I don't know what I'm going to run for yet, but I'm going to run. Yes, it's nice to be in politics, but I don't know how you guys can take the stress. Listen, it's like no different than any other job that you have. Every job, I don't care what you do for a living, comes with some stress. So, if you come into public service with the intention of helping people, then it's yeah. I mean, I'll consider there's no stress, but it's very tolerable. It's bearable because the outcome or the objective is helping people. If you come here and you're not interested in helping people and you just whatever want to promote yourself, then yeah, there's a lot of stress because you're doing things that you're not comfortable doing. You're doing things that you don't enjoy doing. I enjoy. I love helping people. I love working with people. I love talking. Obviously. So it's not stressful. It's stressful when I cannot get something done that a constituent wants done. That's where the stress comes in, and that's where the frustration comes in. Is because I'm not. I should be in a position where I can help them, and in some cases I simply cannot. So that's the only real frustration I have. But as far as the job, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's like a cop, right? Not everybody's built to be a cop, and they have a lot of stress. They have a lot of stress. But Charlie, you and I both know it's a different kind of stress because you're helping people.
You know
Okay, hold
the
on.
average
Here's a
average lifespan for a police officer after retiring. Does anybody bother to think about that? What's the average lifespan after retirement?
of cops.
Yep.
The last time I checked, believe it or not, and this is quite frightening because you and I have both passed, is 17 months. That was the
It goes
last study. 17 months, the average lifespan of a cop after retirement.
well. The the most I've seen. I mean, there's a lot of people that a lot of retired police officers that ran the gamut and went beyond that. But they said that on average, 5 years is the max. You live 5 years after retirement, and so when we started to lose friends in the department, post retirement, it's a it's a scary thing.
Yeah,
But I want to touch up real quickly on what you said. If you run for politics, I don't know where things go wrong, but you got some really good politicians that just went sour, and it was no longer about we the people. It was always about I, and that's when things go terribly wrong. And
yeah,
I've been seeing that too many times already.
yeah.
And
Well,
I'm
that.
glad, Mel, you're one of the few that's we. So keep it up, my brother. Keep it up.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I don't know how else to do that. I don't. I want to put Paul's on. My input is when you have valid points on anything to do with matters involving legality, I'm positive that you and Uncle Charlie did your research before speaking out on any matter. Just my opinion. Keep the show going because it keeps all of us locals involved. Mahalo, Paul. That's what we try to do. Sometimes we talk nonsense, but sometimes we actually talk about two council seats open next election, Charlie. They keep reminding you.
Well,
I love
with
helping
the
people,
yin
and I
and the
understand.
yang,
Yeah.
with the
Bruh,
yin and
can
the
you
yang,
imagine that, Charlie? Can you imagine that you and me on the council? Holy crap.
it would be tough. You know why? As soon as something come up to vote, they go, "Oh, don't even worry about Uncle Charlie. Whatever Mel gonna do, he gonna do the same."
Oh, I know that. I know that would not happen, but they would say, yeah, they would think that, right? They would think that, and I hear that so many times. Like when we get new council members come up, and they think I have this amazing influence on the new. I don't have any influence on them. In fact, when council members come in, and like when Fern came in, I tell you, keep your independent mind. You're not gonna piss me off if you vote against me. I'm not. You're not gonna hurt my feelings if you vote an opposite way. That's what makes this system work right.
Yeah,
If you get butt hurt because somebody had voted in a different way, then you don't belong in
then
this
you
in
took
this
it
bit. You
personally.
do
You took
not
it
belong.
personally. Yeah,
Yeah, like really.
yeah.
Of course, I don't like losing, but Jesus Christmas. That's why there's seven of us and seven people that represent seven different groups of people. So you expect to have some discussion and debate. You have to have discussion and debate. So,
Well,
yeah.
I will share this with you, and it's in the minutes. But when I sat on that police commission, and we had an issue that we had to vote on, I had to make sure, and when you present your case, you're speaking to your fellow commissioners. And I would always say, if you believe in what I'm saying, I ask just for your vote. If you don't believe me, do me a favor. Don't vote with me. Vote against me. Because you're going to make matters worse if you vote with me and then later on you regret your vote and then it's going to just, all hell's going to break loose. Just keep it that way. And every single time I brought something before the commission to vote on, I've always had a 6-1 or 7-0. But you just be honest with the other commissioners when you present your side of the facts and say, we're going to vote on this. This is the reason why I asked for your vote. But if you cannot, in all good conscience, please do me a favor and don't vote with me. You're going to be doing me a better favor if you do that.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
just keep Snickers on hand at the meetings.
Yes, yes, yes.
Or
Yeah.
Reese's. Oh, Munch. Today's Munch. Honey says their break room is loaded with goodies. Yes,
Woo!
my office is choked with goodies, but my wife provides the goodies, so it's all granola, it's
That's good.
nuts. No, seriously, seriously,
No, granola is good.
I love granola. Keeps
You
me
know,
keeps me regular.
I was never a granola lover until I started to have desserts at MCNS. And one of the things they do is they toast the granola with a little, brown sugar and butter, and they sprinkle that over ice cream. And that's when I started to like granola after that. Now it may
Yeah.
not be healthy for you, but man, that damn thing is good.
Who cares as long as it tastes good? That is
Yeah,
classic. We're gonna take the healthy granola. We're gonna
yeah.
mix them up with some some butter and what?
You
Butter and
can make
what?
it with
Honey.
honey, or but I use just regular white sugar.
Oh, perfect. Okay, then you
But
mix all of
but
that.
then you're knocking on the doors of diabetes. That's the one I use.
Okay, and then you put them on ice cream. There goes the A1C levels. There we go. Keep you on it, buddy.
But air conditioning, there goes the air conditioning level. So
Oh, so I think we really got to get this back, bring this discussion back to what's important, and really it is Charlie Iona for Kauai County Council 2026.
okay. Whew. I walked into a landmine.
I know. That's the beauty of this show. We never know what the hell we're going to talk about. And it's you guys are stimulating the discussion. The village is stimulating the discussion. Oh, speaking
Yeah.
of that, I just said get some more of these. Charlie, I got some of these stickers. These
Oh, yeah,
stickers, they're transparent, so you can put them on your.
yeah.
There we go. You can put them on your, and I have a few here. You can put them on your Yetis or your coffee mugs or your laptop or. Okay, no, here it is. Here's the new ones. There we go. Nice. Yep. Hawaii Strong. I made them Hawaii Strong instead of Kauai Strong.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, they look pretty cool on your Yetis and your coffee mugs and your coffee cups and all of that. And I think it's important we remember. I will say this: when I got up to, and this will be my closing comment, but when I went up to the middle school tonight, I had a chance to talk to Congresswoman Jill Tokuda before she went on, and we had a private discussion. And I talked to her, and she asked, how's the council doing? And I said, hey, we're doing good. And the reason why we're doing good is because we get along. The reason why we're doing good is I gave her an example, and I hope she didn't get offended, but I was being honest. And I said, the mayor just did his county state of the county address last week. I sat in the front row. Do I agree with 100% of the things he did that he's proposing? No. I probably agree with 95%. There's a couple of things maybe I would do things differently, but for the most part, I'm in agreement. But even on the things that I don't agree with or I have a different vision, when he was done talking, I clapped after every time he announced something. We all did. All of us council members did. Because why in the hell are we not going to work with each other? And that's what I try to tell Congresswoman Tokuda was, we got to start learning to play together in the sandbox. That is how this country is gonna work, and this is for both sides of the aisle. We cannot continue this pissing contest to see whose genitalia is bigger than the other. It's just not going to work. It's just going to continue to divide this community and across the country. So we got to basically grow up. And I think she got the message. And I love Jill. I think Jill's a great person. She has an amazing heart. She's genuine. But we gotta learn to work together, even in times of disagreement. And I know that when Charlie gets on the county council, he's just going to amplify that to the next level, just with his aloha spirit and that laugh and that laugh and that laugh.
Okay. Well, someone is asking for a quick safety brief. Again, as a reminder, as we get up in years, as we get up in years, let's just always, this is something simple that you can do. If the environment doesn't look right for you when you're going to the ATM machine, abort your plan, get back in your car, leave, to find another machine. Okay? I see too many times we hear about seniors getting robbed at ATM machines. And it's not only in Hawaii, but all over. And it's because you're so focused on getting your money. The thing is, it's good you're going to get your money if you have it and it's not taken away from you by force. So if you got people standing around you and all that, abort the mission and just leave. Okay? Because a bad guy, he can take your card, but if you're not giving your PIN, he cannot get squat. So they're gonna wait until that money is being delivered. That's when they're gonna nail you. And so try and do that. Try to remember something as simple as that. Okay. And another thing, I've been seeing some kupunas now. Some of them have those plastic whistles. The ones that have high decibel levels. They have that, and that's the reason why police officers, we cannot be yelling all day when we direct in traffic. Blowing the whistle, the sound travels a lot further to get someone's attention. So if you have to go, always take your whistle with you. Always take your whistle with you. So that's my safety tip for this show.
Awesome. Your story, your ATM suggestion or advice just reminded me today. I saw this video on Facebook. It was right in Honolulu, in Waikiki. I think it was Waikiki, where you saw that big fat guy
Yeah.
walk up to a person in a wheelchair to try to steal the wallet or the purse, and the bystander came up with the pepper spray and shoot the crap out of that guy, and he saved the day.
Hmm.
So go get some pepper spray. Go get some
Yep.
pepper spray. Always have your pepper spray. Anyway, folks, appreciate you guys tonight. Charlie, a mahalo. Don't forget, vote Iona for Iona 2026 County Council. Um, just imagine how much fun it would be. How much fun it would be, Charlie. Uh, he's laughing now, but right when we go offline, he's going to give me the. I cannot repeat what he's going to say, but anyway. Hey, we
So
love you
another guy,
guys.
another guy will go offline, and I go, you think I get chance?
Well, I think everybody agrees that. So yeah, we're gonna we're gonna move him in that direction. I think that'd be awesome. But anyway, folks, appreciate you guys spending the evening with us tonight. Again, we appreciate you guys so much. We love you guys. We'll be back
Thank you.
next week, Thursday. Same time, same place. You guys just stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll catch you guys next week. Ahui ho! Aloha.